Welcome to all of our listeners. This week we have a special guest. We have Morgan Dawson from Dawson Workwear, currently located out in Alabama. Morgan, we are so excited to have you on the podcast. It's Women in Construction Month, right? What a perfect time to be alive. What a perfect time to be here. So Morgan, tell us about yourself and how you got into the trades, right? And that kind of will lead us into the Dawson Workwear, sorry.
Yeah,
Keep
no
saying that.
worries. Thank you guys for having me. So my story kind of starts in construction back in college. So I am from Columbus, Ohio. I went to Kent State University. And when I graduated high school, I really had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. So Kent State has this really great program. It's like the undecided program where you don't have to declare a major right away. So my freshman year, I was undecided. I was kind of playing around with a couple different options. And I was introduced to a professor in the construction management program at Kent State. And we got to talking and he kind of explained, what construction management is, what kind of career opportunities there are within construction management. And instantly I was like, okay, this is it. Growing up, my dad's a mason. So I would go to job sites with him on sick days and in the summer. So I kind of grew up around a job site. I knew I didn't want to be at an office all day, every day. I love problem solving. So it was just a perfect fit. So I declared at the end of my freshman year and started my construction management program, I think the beginning of my sophomore year. And I loved it so much. I was introduced to Hensel Phelps through a career fair, and I landed an internship for the summer of my junior year. So that was really my first hands-on experience in construction. It was a 3-month internship. I spent half of it in the field and half of it in the office, and it was so cool. So I went back, finished during COVID, finished school, and then came full-time. I moved to Washington, D.C. to work for Hensel Phelps as a field engineer.
Wow. Lots going on there. That's awesome though. It's honestly,
starting hot right out the gate, huh?
Mm-hmm. Right. And when you're undecided and you don't know what to do, that's a great, construction world. There's so many different positions in the construction world that it's not just being out on the field, working on building stuff, right? Or the labor part of it. There's so many different positions in the trades. It's just awesome that you were able to find that, through project management, right? And then you're doing engineering, right?
Yeah.
So so cool.
I immediately fell in love with the field, just being out there. I love layout. I love doing all that kind of stuff. Concrete was always my favorite. And I quickly fell in love with the field and just, problem solving, chatting with all the trades guys out there is definitely my favorite part of it all. And then I recently, last May, moved to Birmingham with a development firm working as a development associate. So I was more in the contractor category in my last job, and now I'm the owner. So I'm overseeing the general contractor and doing inspections and stuff on site. So it's a little bit different perspective now. But I couldn't work, 12 to 14-hour work days and then do Dawson Workwear on the side. So that's kind of why I switched into development ownership.
Right. And that leads me to my next question. So tell us about Dawson Workwear. How did that come about, right? How did you start that? What was the idea behind it? Tell us more.
Yeah, this started kind of back when I was talking about getting my internship my junior year. So there's been little things that have happened along the way to bring me to where I am today. So when I was getting ready for my internship, I was 21. I had just turned 21 and no idea what to wear on the job site. There's all those safety requirements. So I knew I needed to wear jeans of some sort, and then I needed steel toe boots for my job site. Some job sites you don't have to wear steel toe, but mine did. So I went to the Levi's outlet and got a bunch of pairs of jeans, just normal jeans, and then went to Amazon Prime for some steel-toed boots. And as soon as I clicked on the women's option, the Prime check mark went away. So that was kind of the first indication where I was like, okay, I hope it comes in on time. So I think it was 2 weeks later, I was getting ready. My mom was driving me to DC from Ohio. She's so sweet. She's always there for me. My boots still had not come in. So I was freaking out. We're hopping in the car for this 10-hour drive. And we had to stop at this place in West Virginia in the middle of nowhere. It's called the Boot Barn. And
Yes.
they had one pair of steel toe boots in my size. So that was like another thing where I was like, oh gosh, this is so frustrating. So finished my internship, had the time of my life, met so many great people, loved Tensile Phelps, came back, didn't really think any more of, workwear options while I was still in school. And then I came back full time and it was just the same thing over again. I was wearing these jeans all day, every day. They're pretty tough, don't bend as much as you'd like. Obviously, there's not all these pockets. And then another thing happened was my safety vest. So I'm a very petite woman. I'm 5'2", 120 pounds. And the job site only carried, the small size was medium, unisex safety vests. So
Of course.
it was, yeah, and it hit me mid-thigh, and I had all my tools stored in the backpack. So not only was it, so baggy on me, all my tools would like hit me when I'm walking, and I'd take them out to do like layout and stuff like that. So I was begging and begging for a size small safety vest, and they're like, no, like it's special order, like it'll take so long to come in. And I'm like, well, there's more women getting into construction, so I think we'll need it eventually. Might as well order a couple. So, months go by, and finally my small safety vest comes in. I'm super excited, and I put it on, and it is the exact same size as the medium. Like I could put them over each other, and they were the exact same.
So not necessarily a woman's small.
No, it was
No.
still unisex, which is obviously more tailored to men.
Right.
So that was just another frustrating aspect for me. And then that's when I kind of started looking around in the market for workwear for women. And really there was no options. So I went on the Carhartt website and I ordered a pair of little boys work pants.
Oh, yep.
And do you guys remember like back in the day when you were little, your jeans had like those elastic, like little things that you
With
hooked on the button
on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
They had that, and I tried them on, and when they still didn't fit, I was mortified.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yep. So that's kind of what was like the last straw for me. And my family was coming to Birmingham to visit my older sister that lives here. And we were sitting in her living room. I remember it like so clearly. We're all chatting and, we're talking about me being in construction. My dad loves to talk about it because I'm his little prodigy. Like he's construction, I'm construction. And we just came up with the whole thing in one sitting. It was crazy. I have a little notes page on my iPhone, and it has like all the different things you're talking about, like different names. So we settled on Dawson Workwear, and we came up with my slogan right then and there too, which is built for her. There were a couple different options, but built for her just kind of struck me. And I was like, that is so cool. I don't want it to be like the super feminist movement where it's like, my workwear is going to be pink and it's going to have flowers on it. I love like men's workwear and I love men's fashion. So I pull all my inspiration from brands like Dawson or Carhartt Work in Progress, which are like high-end workwear options for men. So I thought the built for her kind of really fit into that. So, I went back to DC to continue my day-to-day job. And I'm like, okay, well, I have this idea. What are my next steps? So the first thing I did was file for my LLC, which is so cool. I had no idea how to do any of that. And then I started to work on my logo, and I had like one that I sketched up that I went through, and it didn't really feel like it was me. And so I was chatting with my dad, and he loves like high-end men's jeans and workwear and stuff like that. So he was sending me inspiration. And then we found like these old union tags, which were so cool. And so we ended up basing my logo off of old union tags, which is what you see today, which is that kind of like abstract rectangle that we put on everything. And then after my logo was done, I kind of was stuck and I had no idea what to do next. I have no background in fashion design or production or any of that stuff. So I turned to trusty Google, and I was reading all this stuff, and it was like, okay, you need to make a sample, because you take the sample to the production. And so I took the pair of Levi's jeans that I wore every day to the job site, and I had my friend that graduated from the Kent State fashion program do a drawing for me. So I took this to a seamstress in Arlington, and I was like, can you make this for me? And she's like, yes, no problem, I've got you. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see them. So I pick up my sample, and it was a disaster.